outside of you. You can only control you. So the things that happen outside of you, well, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. I've heard that saying so much lately. So much. All right, here we go. The first download that I received was about an aunt who I think would have been like a great great aunt to me. Her name is Lillian. She was actually the dark witch of the family. She was the one who taught Sandy, mother, the black magic, the voodoo. This woman, Lillian, placed an evil entity on my grandmother. There's a picture of my grandmother in the forest with she and my grandpa were alone. And this picture, when it was taken, shows a woman that's crouching down beside my grandmother. Now, my grandmother found kittens in the middle of the forest, and she was standing holding one of the kittens, and this woman was crouched down next to her holding kittens as well, um, wearing a different suit, um, different hairstyle. It's obviously not an overexposure. My grandmother actually took this to people who look for double exposures, to people who do photography to see if it could have been, but it was shown that it was not a double exposure. And then she took it to a priest once she had that information, and the priest told her to bind it. Well, somehow that picture became unbound, and I am now in possession of that picture. There is a darkness to the woman that is crouched down. Half of her face, the right side of her face, the eyeball is blacked out, and the mouth is like what you would think of a person who is decaying, where you can see their gums and their teeth, and it looks really ugly. But over the shoulder of this woman is what appears to be a child, but it somehow also doesn't look holy, for the lack of a better way to put it. My grandmother was plagued with, uh, gosh, I don't even know if you would call it nightmares, because she was awake. But she would go to bed and she would lay there trying to, go to sleep and saying her prayers. And when she would open her eyes, she would see faces above her, like right above her as she was sleeping. She told me some of those faces were people that she knew. A lot of them were people she had no idea who they were, and some of them were very demonic. And it was scary for her. And I could totally agree. That would be scary for anybody. There would be nights where I would get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and I would smell a man's cologne coming from my grandma's room, or a woman's perfume coming from my grandma's room. Well, obviously, she's not going to be putting on perfume before she goes to bed, and obviously, there's no man in there. And there were nights when I would go to the bathroom and I would feel like I was not alone. Sometimes it was really scary to get up to go to the bathroom, and I remember there there were nights I remember running back to the bedroom because it was that scary. And I was an adult, for crying out loud, but I would run back to my room, and I recall my children telling me situations, stories, ouch, like that as well, that they would, feel really uneasy going to the bathroom in the middle of the night. There was one night when they made me get up and go with them because they were too afraid to go. They made it halfway into the living room and they came back to the bedroom. My grandmother painted her spare bedroom blue, but it was kind of on the darker side of blue. I never understood that. And I'd mentioned at some point to change the color, and she was no, dead set against it, not happening. Well, it wasn't until just a few years back that I realized that blue is a protective color. Archangel Michael, protection. So she was protecting anybody that ever stayed in that room. She sent, Lillian sent chaos magic toward my grandmother, um, creating issues with her children and creating issues with um, her marriages. Yeah. So there's a group of people that were originally sent to harm me who now know and realize that the things that they were told were lies. This group is now protecting me. To the non corrupt law officials that are watching this, I want to tell you that there are many of these people who were pulled over, illegally searched, had things seized. Some of these people may have even ended up in jail. Fines were given to them. There are some of these people who were pulled over in their cars, and they were also illegally searched and seized. Things were seized illegally, charges placed upon them, and fines. And there are some of these people who were at home when their homes were invaded with an illegal search and seize, and things were taken from their house and charges brought against them, and either served time or had to pay fines. I want the authorities to please look into this, because they were illegally searched. Their homes, their houses, their cars, their motorcycles, illegally searched. Okay, please look into that and help these people as best as you can. Uh, my oldest child had spells done on her when she was young, very young, an infant, toddler. And she has an evil attachment to her as well. She may even be doing voodoo, hoodoo, wah wah la la, whatever it is that they do on me right at this particular moment. It is my understanding that she may have lost her job, and if you haven't, you are going to very soon. I highly recommend that you refrain from doing these things, because the only thing you're doing is harming yourself at this point. You are bringing more and more bad karma upon your life and the lives of those you love. So I recommend you refrain. Someone is literally scrubbing their walls right now, trying to get rid of the pentagrams, trying to get rid of the voodoo, hoodoo spells that they used against me. Well, let me just tell you, whoever you are scrubbing your walls, it's a little bit too late for that. What's done is done, and you can't reverse it. Somebody very, 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 very near and dear to me has been sent health issues, respiratory health issues, reproductive health issues. There was a time when this person was coughing up what looked like thick green worms. It was mucus, and it was hard. And it was something that the doctors were like, well, nobody really knew what to say or what to do. It was really awful, and it was scary, and it was sent to you purposely, as well as spells to cause chaos and disruption in your life and in your marriage. Those faces that were seen in your closet by someone very, very, very near and dear to you were indeed there. The times when I told you that I felt like there was something evil in your house, there was. It was being sent to you on purpose by people you know and people you love. Your best friend in my hometown was paid to give you false advice, fake advice, bad advice when it came to your marriage, when it came to your life. They purposely gave you incorrect, faulty, awful advice to help steer you away from your marriage. This person will be receiving karma in a situation with a man named Joe. You know what that means, and I know what that means, and she knows what that means. Um, to my doppelgangers, because there's more than one, people who wanted to destiny swap with me, let me just tell you that your inner darkness will never be allowed to attach to me again. There may have been a time and there may have been a place and there may have been a day where that was able to occur, but those days are gone. You will never be able to attach to my energy again because the evil that is inside of you isn't obviously of the light and isn't allowed. It just simply isn't allowed to happen anymore. And anything that you send to me will be returned to you tenfold. Someone is literally losing their mind right now. Literally losing their mind. And the reason that this is happening is because of the hoodoo, voodoo, wah wah, la la, whatever garbage you've been trying to send at me to put the cloud of the shroud over me to make it look like everything that I was saying was coming out crazy to everybody else. Those spells are being returned to you tenfold, and you are literally losing your mind. The group that is helping me for a lot of reasons. But one of the reasons that they're helping me is because they know that the corrupted law officials in Tennessee won't, haven't, and will not do anything to help me or protect me or arrest the people that are involved in this because these corrupted law officials are a part of what is happening to me. And that is why that they are stepping up and they are trying to help me. And I thank you. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you. It's also been brought to my attention that the chief of police, Kip, that retired, did so because he had so many people coming up against him to do their bidding. He didn't want to be a part of it, but he didn't know how not to be because there were so many people that were corrupt and so many people that were, going against him. And if anybody gets that, I get that. One person fighting how many? If anybody knows where you stand, believe me, I know. And I don't blame you. for walking away. I don't blame you for retiring. As a matter of fact, I respect you for that. And I respect you for that because, you may have not been able to fight this and you may have not been able to do anything about this, but you did what you had to do for yourself. And that shows great strength and a lot of character. It shows who you are as a human being. And I thank you. And more power to you. And I hope your dreams come true, Kip. I've been sitting out here all morning. I love the mornings. Morning is my favorite time of the day. And if anybody that knows me knows that mornings are my time. And I've been sitting out here and I've been watching the blue jay make a nest in the tree that's in the yard. And I've seen a lot of butterflies and I've seen a lot of dragonflies. I have the stray cats in the neighborhood that have befriended me. Yeah. Dogs randomly come up to me. It's pretty cool. I guess they like my energy. I like my energy too. I'm very thankful and very grateful to be loved by the divine. Speaking of the divine, God speaks to each and every one of us in a different way. He speaks to us how we know how to hear him. Some people that's through music, some through art, some through writing, some through tarot. There are endless possibilities of the way that God can speak to us because we are all uniquely individual. And God knows what we need to have, to see, to hear, to write in order to touch us, to have us hear him, that small, still voice. He knows what we need in order to hear him. He will talk to you how he knows you will hear. Now, we can choose to ignore it. We can choose to, think that what we think we're thinking isn't right. We can deny it. We all have a choice. He gives us a choice. He does. He gives us a choice. And we can either choose to hear him or we can choose to not hear him. But it's entirely up to us. But he will speak to you how he knows your heart can hear you. Our God is an awesome God. And your relationship with him is uniquely yours. My relationship with him is uniquely mine. And anyone out there, if you've done anything that you regret, that you wish you would have never done, if you have asked through Jesus, if you have asked God through Jesus for forgiveness, and you mean it with the right intention in your heart, if you ask for forgiveness with the right intention in your heart, you are forgiven. Instantaneously, you are forgiven. The thing you have to do now is forgive yourself. And that's harder than people think. Forgiving yourself for your wrongs, for the things that you've done wrong, for the things that oh, I'm never going to be forgiven. But if you've asked with the right intention in your heart and through God and through Jesus to God, you are forgiven instantly. Forgive yourselves. Forgive yourselves because God already forgave you. Love each other. Love your neighbors. Make sure you know who your neighbors are. That elderly person that lives across the street from you, that you very rarely ever see, check on them. See if there's anything they need. See if they're okay. Befriend them. They're lonely. And a lot of the time very sad. Some of the times maybe not. But check on them. Most importantly, love yourselves. Love who you are, because you are the only you there is on the face of this earth. There is no one else like you ever again. You are worthy, and you are special, and you are a one of a kind, and you need to treat yourself like you are a jewel, because you are a one of a kind, never to be duplicated ever again. You are a one of a kind, and you are worthy. You are worthy of God's love. You are worthy of forgiveness. You are worthy. To everybody out there, I love you. From the bottom of my heart, I love you. I love you, my hidden helpers. I love you, my ops. Because of my ops, I have become and stepped into who I really am. You think you've been harming me, but all you've done is push me more into my purpose. And the more you do, the more into my purpose I get. So thank you. I wish you all a blessed and beautiful day. If you have the opportunity to go outside, get some sun, ground yourself, sit up against a tree, walk barefooted in the grass, do whatever you need to do. Sit by water. Love yourselves. I will catch you later. Have a blessed and beautiful day, everybody. Later.